Thank you to all of you for coming to our 4th annual event. I'm always overwhelmed and humbled by the support for Mitchell's Fund. When I look around this room, I see so many friends, and I am grateful for each one of you. I see people who knew me before I became a mother. You know the carefree side of me. I see people who I came to know when little Frank was born, and together we learned to be parents. And there's a special group of friends here who were literally at my side when Mitchie was diagnosed and saw me become a momcologist. That's the mother of a child with cancer. I'll never forget that day and how you rallied around our family and supported us during his 2-year lifelong battle with cancer. There are friends here who I've met since Mitchell died. You only know Mitchell through the stories I tell, through the photos and videos I post on social media, and of course through the work and impact of Mitchell's Fund. And to the new friends who are here who I've yet to meet, I'm especially grateful for you. New friends from Mitchell's Fund are how we'll continue to grow and allow us to expand on our work helping families with sick children. Thank you to our sponsors. Your contributions give us the funding we need to help these families. And to our presenting sponsors, Bill and Kay McMullen of Children's Medical Fund and Dockery Clark of Charlotte Wine and Food Weekend, thank you for investing so deeply in our work. I really love working with you. To the Mitchell's Fund Board of Advisors, I'd like for you all to stand. The Board of Advisors. I am so grateful that you said yes when I asked you to join the Mitchell's Fund Board. Your passion and commitment for helping families is real. I couldn't do this without you, and I appreciate you putting up with me. The heart of Mitchell's Fund is pediatric cancer, but as you learned today, the fund also supports pediatric mental health issues. Your contributions are used to fund things like mortgage payments, rent payments, utility bills, and we often pay funeral costs for families who don't survive their illness. Mitchell's Fund has paid the salary for a counselor and registered play therapist at the St. Jude Clinic who is working with children to help them understand what's happening to them. Also in the past year, Mitchell's Fund, in partnership with Foundation for the Carolinas and Children's Medical Fund, has been funding a research study of pediatric mental health needs in our community. This report will be released in November. Our work in pediatric mental health is directly tied to the Leading on Opportunity Upward Mobility Task Force report. Children who live in high poverty experience toxic stress. My child in South Park has experienced toxic stress. The difference is that my child is from a family with resources and social capital. He has access and is able to seek play therapy. This counseling helps him thrive despite all he's been through, and he is thriving. I am so proud of my son, Frank Turner. Children in poverty do not have the same access to mental health services. Our public schools and juvenile justice system are filled with children who are struggling with mental health issues. Teachers, administrators, police officers, and judges are not the trained professionals to effectively help these children. Our community needs more school counselors, and we need better access to mental health services. And we need to reduce the stigma for seeking those services. I have sought mental health services. Before I lost my child, I sought mental health services. When I was in college, I was hospitalized for mental health illness. Justin tells me that that's normal. That's the normal age when a pediatric mental health issue shows itself. So I'm glad to know I'm normal. Everybody else in the room who's normal, raise your hand. Mitchell's Fund cannot solve these problems alone. We can talk about it, and we can study it, and we can raise awareness. But we need the leaders and decision makers who are in this room and in our community to step up and take action when they can, where action is needed. Mitchell's Fund has expanded our grant making to support the 15-bed inpatient pediatric mental health unit at Novant Health. In this area of the hospital, children as young as 5 years old are on suicide watch. I want you to imagine that for a minute. A 5-year-old who is on suicide watch. Mitchell's Fund pays for pizza and ice cream parties for these children because we want them to feel like children should, happy, loved, and carefree. And we know from experience that pediatric cancer families have the longest treatment time and the greatest need for financial support. A battle with pediatric cancer is long and hard, and so our work there will continue. I'd like to ask Mitchell's oncologists and nurses to come up and hold his beads of courage. Beads of Courage is an arts and medicine program for children with life-threatening illness. This strand of beads that Mitchell's doctors and nurses will hold are a visual reminder to me of all that my sweet baby endured. Every bead tells a story, and Mitchie's strand of beads are over 70 feet long. Mitchell Bays Turner lived 774 days. The yellow beads are for the 184 days that he spent in the hospital. The red are for the 75 blood transfusions that he received to keep him alive. The white are for the 417 chemotherapy treatments that my baby took. Many days he had more than one chemo drug. And the green are for the 457 days that he was in isolation, and that meant our family was in isolation too. There's a bead that represents when he first crawled, when he took his first steps, when he said mama for the first time. And there's a butterfly at the end for when he left and went to heaven. The families that Mitchell's Fund serves, they need you, and they need your financial support. Please help them today by making a donation to Mitchell's Fund. I want you to really think and give generously. Give in memory of someone you've lost to cancer, or give in thanksgiving for the healthy children in your life. You have the ability today to make a big impact for someone you'll never meet, but they may be in their darkest hour. I've been there.